that are being awarded.
This is hotel motel tax dollars. So Jessica, I see you're out there. Is a lot of the grading based on heads and beds?
Yes.
Okay, I'm probably gonna get stoned for bringing this up, and I'm gonna go along with the committee because they put a lot of time, energy, and research into it. But, if it's heads and beds, I don't really think some of these really qualify all that well. I sincerely doubt whether the Plymouth County Fair puts one head in a bed. They might.
They do.
Okay, they
We're
might.
full.
Huh?
We are full that week. Fairground, or campground's also full that week.
I know the campground is. I know the
But our
campground
hotels are
is.
also.
Are they? Okay. So, like I say, I'm gonna go along with it because they put a lot more research into it than me, but I figured that, by your own testimony, you said you went to Des Moines. You spent a few days down in Des Moines marketing the fair, and you felt by your own testimony that it was, you probably weren't gonna get too much traffic generated from that time you spent there. So my point is, I believe the Plymouth County Fair is a great, huge draw event, but I have always questioned how much advertising you can throw at it versus what it benefits, because those who have planned, so that's just a concern that I have. So. All right, thank you.
I'd make a motion to approve the Convention and Visitor Bureau Advisory Board's recommendations for fiscal year 25 project funding in the amount of $34,800.
Second. I've got a question. In the budget workshop, the lighted parade asked for $700 for 2 generators, I believe. Is that something that could be added to this? I mean, I know it's more heads and beds, but I'm looking at it as a tourist type of draw event. Would it be appropriate to I mean, I'm not sure how it necessarily works. I know we're final say on how that money is appropriated, but not coming from the advisory board?
Yeah, they would have to go back to you guys now, after these are approved, because the deadline for grant submission is December.
Right.
So for next year, if it's still that same group, then yeah, we should be encouraged to submit an application.
We could make a special.
You guys can, yeah.
Yeah.
We can make a special award
Right.
of those same funds, but just not in this process.
That was
so.
in there.
You could still, it's just if you're thinking cutting that from the budget later, you can do that, have them come back
Yeah, ask
July and ask for that 700 through this fund.
Okay.
I do think that's a logical place.
But it wouldn't be appropriated until after the next
Right.
parade, so.
We can't add it
Oh,
to
yeah,
this.
it would. It
No,
would
you
be.
could appropriate it before.
Yeah.
July 1,
We,
you guys.
We can.
okay,
do
I got you.
ours,
Okay.
not theirs.
Gotcha, okay. All right.
Careful saying we, because I'm on both boards.
Not you, Rob.
Not me. These guys.
Oh, yeah, or Mark.
Yeah, okay.
And you got a mouse in the back.
Yeah.
Council can't, how about that?
That answers my question, thank you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. All right, we have a motion and a, do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to number D5, non-bargaining pool of funds, fiscal year 2025. Each year, the council establishes a pool of funds to be used to fund non-bargaining employee wage increases. Historically, the amount is approved in May and based off the anticipated bargaining unit increase for the year. It is proposed that the proposed funds be discussed during budget considerations to allow for council input. That way, if changes are recommended, it can be included in the approved budget. Using the past method of matching the bargaining increase, the minimum amount needed would be $74,000. Administration would have asked council to approve a fund of $83,000 to distribute among 23 employees. The additional amount is to correct or bring certain positions in line with current comparable positions. The current fiscal year 25 budget is prepared with a 4% increase.
I got multiple questions. First one is this just 83,000 divided by 23? I didn't think so.
No.
So there are differing levels, and that's decided by
Yes.
you,
Yep.
or just completely by you? I mean, no one else involved in that.
Or is it based on their current salary with a
I
certain
might talk
percent
to
increase?
people, But,
That's fine. I'm just
yeah,
asking.
I mean, I ultimately make the final decision.
Right.
On the amount.
Okay. Except for your own, which we do.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could let me if you wanted to.
What's
What's that?
You could let me if you wanted to.
I don't think Rob Sand would approve of that.
I suppose we
We're gonna
could.
need to up that number to 900,000.
I would guess that number could go both ways though, right?
Yeah, good.
And Jason, does it vary? In your history, do you vary those amounts? It's not just carte blanche, everybody?
Yep,
Okay,
they vary.
okay.
So when you say the minimum amount needed is 74,000, that's a 4% increase to match the bargaining?
Yeah,
And then the 83 is the
Correct.
4% plus correction?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they won't, I mean, so how it, didn't get into a whole lot of
What's
detail.
correction?
Well, if somebody is low according to,
Comparable?
yeah, comparables, then they might get a bigger boost.
That was my next question, is gonna morph into this one, is in line with comparable. Who's doing the comparables?
I am, some department heads give me
Their own?
information too,
Their own, okay,
but I do research.
okay.
Is it ever affected by if they are given additional duties or a title, position, supervision? or
Yeah, the
something?
biggest ones to try to correct lately are, this year might be a little bit different, although we solved the big issue with the police earlier. Because with that increase to police officers, the big thing is to try to figure out, to keep Kevin and Justin above them.
Right.
So there's a little bit of work that has to be done there, but like I said, that one has been essentially covered for now. I'll have to look at, we also did the dollar plus the 4% for the bargaining. So now I'll need to go and make sure that all the department heads are gonna surpass what any employee might get.
In percentage?
Well, at the end of the year
Right.
wage.
Gross salary.
Because department heads don't get overtime, so department employees could.
Right.
So all that has to be figured out.
Right, I know it gets very complicated. It gets-
Yeah, so that's where some of that extra money goes, is to make sure that everybody stays where there should be on a pay scale.
Well, I know talk is cheap, but I feel very, very strongly that we have, for the most part, we have exceptional departments that take a lot of pride. Not only, in some cases, they make money for the city. So I really want to protect this because I want to take care of those people, you know? I want to make sure they're taken care of.
That was gonna be my question, is the 83,000, is that enough
I
to
was
make
gonna-
the corrections that you feel are needed?
I was going to ask that too.
Right now, the only trouble is, everybody's going through budgets right now, every other community. So I can only go off of
Last year.
past numbers.
Yeah, but I'm not so worried about other communities. Keeping up with the Joneses has never been in my, okay? I'm worried about keeping our people happy. you know, and how, because that's a never-ending circle. If you want to compare to Spencer, who compares to Cherokee, who compares to South Sioux, who compares to Lamar's, it's a never-ending circle. We're never going to win it. So we worry about ourselves, and we worry about ourselves, and that's it. If you're not happy, you're leave.
Until it gets to a point where you can't attract the same qualified.
Okay, there are points, there's no question, Mark, but for the most part, I'm gonna go back to Rob's question, is, I was questioning that myself.
Yeah, so this is an initial number. So what I usually do each year is, especially this year, since we did the bargaining unit in the December time frame, and we knew what that number was, okay? I usually go through every department head and do the 4%, and then that's what gets me to that 74,000. And I take just a quick look at who I think is gonna need an adjustment somewhere. And that's where I come up with the 83. Okay, so it's not an in-depth look at everything. So could I start getting through the process and wish I'd asked for more? Yeah. But,
Can you do that?
Is there a means to do that?
Yeah. can you-
well, okay, so we do this, it gives Joe a better idea of how to do the budget, in salaries and those things. But we're far enough ahead, so if I do start getting into it and need to change, yes, right now, since we're doing this in February, we used to do this in maybe May, okay? But now we're doing it in February. I mean, so if I start to see something that this isn't gonna work, I do have council meetings and I do have time that I could
To
come
adjust
back-
this figure.
Could come back.
Okay.
Okay, then,
The bargaining got the extra dollar plus the 4%, isn't that more like 7 or 8%?
it's high. 9, isn't it?
Depending on the position and
I think it's up
and
there
the
a ways.
rate.
Yeah.
I mean, lower earning wages will have a higher percentage because the dollar is more. So their percentage will be up a little bit higher. Yes.
Yeah. so
I do
it's
know for a
4%
fact
true.
that my wife, personal note, as a department head, she got less than the employees this year. That's just the way it worked out. And after hearing it 10 times in the armchair at night, I finally said, get over it or get out. Okay? Because that's just the way it is. So it becomes this circle that really, you know, we solved our police issue only until the sheriff decides to get more and cause us a new police issue. I mean, it's just a circle. So, anyway, I'm good with that.
I do think the dollar plus is gonna probably cause you more heartache than other comparables outside the community, per se, but I think if you have the flexibility to come back, once you've done a deeper dive, that I'm content with it.
And is the fund just up to, or do you don't have to use all of it? So we could approve more and you could just go up to?
I usually save $1 or $2 back each year.
Commission?
28
Well-
bucks, just to show you did.
You have to amend it then, say up to.
But you can put it up to,
Now,
that's fine.
I was just
it's
thinking
automatically up to, I mean.
if you put more.
And the entire budget is up to.
No, yeah, that's,
To a big
Yes. They wanna make a motion.
I make a motion to approve a fund of $83,000 to distribute among 23 employees. I guess I'll just leave it
that are
there.
non-bargaining or whatever, yeah.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
No roll call.
No roll call.
It is a roll
It
call.
is
It says
roll
roll
call.
call right here.
What?
There's no.
Roll call.
Wick.
Whoever.
Yes.
Question me again, Brian.
yes.
Goodchild.
Yeah.
Bruns.
Yes.
Sturgeon.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to discussion items. Camera operator.
No, I don't have anything.
Joe,
Not right now.
you got a whole bunch for us.
Save
in a little
everything
while.
for later, huh?
Yeah. Mark, we'll start with you.
I have nothing, thank you.
Steve?
No, I want to hear the reports.
Yeah, me neither.
Thumbs up to whoever brought these treats in, they look delicious, so, thank you. Is that you, Jan? Thank you, dear.
They don't just look delicious.
I'm sure they are, but I gotta, anyway,
Am,
I saved my thumbs up.
Ryan?
Pass.
Brad?
Nothing for me.
All right, moving on to annual reports. I see police is up first.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, my name is Kevin Van Dyke, I'm the Chief of Police. I think everybody has the report in front of them. I'm not going to cover every topic on 10 pages. I did highlight some things that I'll kind of cover, and if you have any questions, please ask. On the first page, it kind of gives a breakdown on who the officers are. We've lost a couple this year, and we replaced a couple of them this year. We did add a second K-9 this year. Bo is very young, a couple months old, and currently in training. We are currently in the process of making an offer on our current opening. I'm happy to report that we interviewed 9 very qualified individuals. We had an extremely successful application process.
So some of those corrective measures helped
Oh,
out.
absolutely. They did.
Sounds like it, good,
Absolutely.
good.
Kevin, can you tell us, do you think the distance one made a bigger difference, or the salary, or, I mean, what do you think?
I think the salary one was brought up in at least 2 or 3 of the interviews, and we pulled more out of the Sioux City market, I think, than we've done in the past, because I think we opened up that market coming this direction.
Good.
So overall, very, very good. On to page 3, I'm just going to hit some of the highlights. We, of course, patrol 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Officers work approximately 2,500 shifts covered by the force. Each officer on patrol averages about 100 miles per shift, so roughly about 160,000 miles of patrol each year. That's when I come to you asking for a car each year, that's because of the miles that we put on the vehicles. This was our 5th, believe it or not, successful year of having a school resource officer in the schools. That continues to be a great asset to us, the community, and the schools. That individual, I don't know how he does it, but he knows all the kids, and he seems to know a lot of the parents. He's a great resource for us. I mentioned this, we lost a couple to the state patrol and the county, but we acquired a couple really great officers back, and I'm pretty proud of how they're working out and how they're coming along in the field training process. We hosted the K-9 trials in Lamar's. I was told that overwhelmingly they want to come back. So they thought it was a great community, so they definitely want to come back and do it in Lamar's. On some of the grants and funding, we will increase our school resource share of this coming year. That position should be about 65% funded. We had $32,000 in grants that we received for body-worn cameras. I'm in the final stages of actually asking for those funds. And about $29,000 in donations to K-9 and DARE. So really generous folks out there who help us run those 2 programs. Statistically speaking, our domestic disturbances, mental health issues have increased over the past couple of years. In 2023, we investigated 1,003 complaints, and we had 11,487 calls for service. Of those, also included in that is there was 3,148 citations, warnings issued in 2023. 77% of all traffic stops resulted in a warning. We made 490 arrests in 2023, including 67 juveniles, and our accidents have remained the same since 2022 at 253. Our community police contacts, when my officers do their reports every night, they enter what they do on their shift, and we had almost 3,000 community related topics that they have engaged in. So about 25% of their time is engaged in community outreach. Some of the community outreach that was, I'm just gonna note this year, is our foot patrol of all the schools. Not only does the SRO walk the halls, but if you're in a uniform, we take turns and we walk the halls every day. We've had a couple town hall meetings. We're having one tomorrow night at the convention center. We've hosted the Citizen and Youth Academy, which continue to be extremely successful. We have to turn people away. And we've instructed active shooter training to every grade level in the schools, including businesses in Lamar's. Some of my goals for next year are to continue with the community meetings. One thing that I've introduced to the city is beginning a volunteer-based rec trail patrol. And I'm kind of in the first stages of kind of organizing that and to see how that would look like. Basically, I really want to do that in my uniform, and I like my uniforms to do that, but we simply don't have the time. So we're looking for volunteers to maybe go out once or twice a day and actually patrol the trail. We're looking very soon to begin our community impact officer detective position. We're hoping that once we make our next hire and get a few others through FTO that we can begin that position. Develop and plan to relocate our LPD range and just work on replacing maybe a couple older support vehicles. And ultimately my goal for next year and every year is to keep Lamar's a safe place to live and raise your children. On the graphs and everything on the back pages, I'll just hit a couple of them that I've highlighted here. Our busiest time of the day is noon to 6 o'clock at night, followed by 6 o'clock at night till midnight. Our busiest day, last year was Wednesday, this year it happens to be Tuesday, followed by Wednesday and Monday. On a animal control side of things, we had 253 animal calls last year. Those include barking dogs, nuisance complaints, welfare checks, things like that. We took in 43 dogs into our kennel, and 7 of those went to Wet Nose, 5 went to the Humane Society, and 31 were reclaimed by their owners. And then lastly, on the year-to-year comparables, we just had, overall last year was just a slight uptick from the year before, about a